Hi folks, Coach Kelvin here. We run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas as well as online coaching. In this little video I'm going to share some thoughts on a concept, and that concept is within your training most of the time nothing gets left behind. And what I mean by that is intensity distribution. So when we're thinking about different intensities that are more intense than LT1, lactate threshold 1, which is the top of zone 2, so tempo threshold and VO2 max, and also speed work, which is different from VO2 max. That's kind of shorter reps that don't reach VO2 max, but are usually much faster, things like strides. So nothing gets left behind. What do I mean by that? So we want to keep all of those things in our training most of the time, and at certain times we're just going to emphasize different elements. And an example might be the long run. You know, if someone's sort of starting a sort of preparation phase before marathon specific work, they might do a long run once in a training block. So that's once in 4 weeks. And that's a little bit similar to what a 10K runner would do, you know, putting like a long run once every 4 weeks. But obviously that's going to grow to possibly something that's almost weekly. There's a little bit of a debate on that one. I often program bi-weekly in marathon training for the long run. But the sort of point is it's going to grow, it's going to change. But we do always have that long run in there. And it's a little bit similar for things like, you know, VO2 max. We probably want to keep a VO2 max session in the block most of the time. And that doesn't mean, you know, if someone's training for a 5K, that's probably going to be a weekly VO2 max session. If someone's built the VO2 max and they're maintaining it, it might be that we do a VO2 max session twice in a training block, so twice in a 4-week block. The other thing that I'm mindful of, that sometimes to keep everything in there all the time can be quite stressful for a runner in terms of just physiological and mechanical load. So we might be thinking about supporting a certain intensity. And what I mean by that, an example would be, if I was rolling out of a base building phase, so a base building phase, it's predominantly easy running, but again, nothing gets left behind. I'm going to keep an element of threshold in there. There will be more threshold and tempo for runners training on lower volumes, and I'll keep strides in there. And I will develop a VO2 max session within that. So I'll bridge that gap between the you know, sort of base building phase and maybe a VO2 max phase. So what I might do is I might take one of the weekly stride sessions and start to elongate it. So instead of doing sort of 20-second strides, we might grow that to something like 6 to 8 times 45 seconds. And then we might take that to a hill. So we've got 6 times 45 second hills. And then we might take that to 5 times 1 minute hill VO2 max. And that might be the start of the VO2 max phase, where obviously we need, you know, a minimum of 6 to 8 minutes for VO2 max. But again, we're always bridging gaps. We don't just give somebody 16 times 1 minute hills because it would destroy them. So we do use support sessions, but within our training, most of the time, I'd say maybe 10 months of the year, you should be able to look at a 4-week training block, and we have tempo, threshold, VO2 max, strides, and maybe hill strides within that. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. And if you've got any comments, please drop them down below. And for now, happy running.